I am so excited to do these videos on how to write a book in 30 days. We created a process years ago. As a matter of fact, I've been writing books now for about 24 years, 25 years. We have 11 books, four of which have become #1 bestsellers. But I want to tell you something, man. This tip is huge. This tip is massive because it's the one I didn't do for the longest period of time. It's the one that I kept pushing off, and it's probably the most important tip I can give you. One of the things that you get excited about when you think about writing a book is let's sit down and write it. And I gave you tip #1, which is on my YouTube channel, that said, no, 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 we got to get organized and focused, and who's the audience, and what's the topic, and is it fiction, is it nonfiction, all that kind of stuff. Well, this tip is crucial. It's probably the most important thing I can share. Tip #2 says this: if you take the time to write an incredibly detailed outline, you will never experience writer's block for the rest of your life. Now, I've been helping people to learn how to write articles, learn how to write books for 30 years now. And a lot of times people will come to me and go, I just don't know why this book is taking so long. I don't know why I can't finish this article. I got writer's block. What causes writer's block is an insufficient outline. I'm not kidding you. Once you have a killer outline done, writer's block will become a thing of the past. You will blow through the book. The process will be fun. The process will be free of any major stress and anxiety. I'm not kidding you. When I first started, it would take me 1.5 to 2 years to write a book. And then over the years, I mean, when you do something for 24 years, you better get good at it, right? And over the 24 years, I kept changing my process, changing the formula, and now I have the one that really works. As a matter of fact, and I don't expect anyone to follow this, but I'm going to tell you the power of an incredible outline, is that you're able to write books in really short periods of time. The last book I wrote, our last #1 bestseller, is called Love and Relationship Secrets That Everyone Needs to Know. Now listen to this. After working for a few weeks on an intensely deep outline, I wrote the entire book in 2 days. My personal assistant, Mary Lou Bauman, was with me the whole time. And as I'm churning out chapter after chapter, she's there doing a minimal edit and then a maximal edit. And then we send it on to my buddy Russ, who does the formatting. And it's incredible, right? But in 2 days, I wrote a #1 book. Now, I don't expect you to do that. The process we teach, you can write a book in 30 days, or you can take the outline I teach you and you can expand it and write it in 2 months or 4 months or 6 months or whatever you want to do. But if someone really wants to get clear on the various steps to follow in order to write a book stress-free, without a lot of anxiety, without a lot of craziness, I have the opportunity to teach you this. Now, when we talk about writing outlines, we're not just saying chapter 1 title, chapter 2 title, chapter 3 title. We're going, okay, in chapter 1, here's the 4, 6, 8 points that I'm going to use, okay? And then in chapter 1, for each of those points, I'm going to use statistics, studies, personal stories of people that I've worked with, whatever it might be. Now, I'm mainly talking here about nonfiction books. You can do it the same way with fictions. I've written 3 books of fiction and I've followed similar outlines, right? So it doesn't have to be that complicated. If you're writing fiction, one of the things you want to do before you start writing the book is have the characters developed on paper. Who are they? Where are they from? What's their strengths? What their weaknesses? Let's go back to nonfiction. That's really what I love. So in nonfiction, let's say you're writing a book. I'll give you an example. 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. So you say, okay, what's chapter 1? I forget what the book said it is, but let's say chapter 1 is, what does a successful person look like? Let's say that's the title, right? Then underneath that with your outline, you'd want to have examples. Happy people follow this pattern. Here's a person that was unhappy, Joe Smith, and when he followed this system, he became happy. The end result of happiness is, and then you list all the benefits. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, the outline itself can take 3 weeks to write, rewrite, reprioritize. You know, in my last book, Love and Relationship Secrets That Everyone Needs to Know, chapter 4 started out as chapter 2. Chapter 8 started out as chapter 1. You know, it was crazy, right? But as I continued to work really hard on the outline, it started to take shape. it started to mold itself into its own entity. And then, and this is something I'm going to be teaching, I work with people one-on-one. We have an 8-week program. I only work with you 30 minutes a week. I give you a bunch of detail to do, and all that's at talkdavid.com. We also have a webinar coming up at the end of June that you can join us for 4 hours on a Saturday via phone or Skype. And I'm going to take a whole group of people through this process. But when I did the last book, Love and Relationship Secrets, I would look at that outline and I didn't type a thing. I did all voice to email. I'm going to teach you all this in great detail, whether we work together one-on-one or you go to the webinar, okay? You don't have to be a good, fast typist. I hate typing. I suck at typing. I always have. My first 5 books, I wrote longhand. And then I had an assistant type it, right? This one, totally different. Now, I just voice into my phone the outline. I print it out. I make marks, I make changes, I go back in and voice the next chapter outline. So it takes time, but all of the effort that you're putting into the outline is going to pay off in the biggest way possible when you go to sit down and write that book. I don't care if this is your first book or your 10th. Maybe you have 9 books and all of them have been frustrating. This is going to be the first book that eventually will be a lot of fun to write. So reach out to me. Join me one-on-one from anywhere in the world via phone or Skype to write your book. It could be a 50-page book or a 500-page book. It doesn't matter to me. Or join our webinar at the end of June from anywhere in the world. And if you early bird special it, you save $100 on the webinar. Join me at talkdavid.com. One of the greatest joys in the world is seeing your book published. It boosts self-confidence, self-esteem. It can lead to many business openings. I mean, all of my books have led to lectures, new clients, opportunities to meet people I never would have met in my entire life. But if you don't have a killer outline, writing a book can be a pain in the butt. I want to help you avoid that. And I've got tons of tips to do that. Okay, so join me, David Essel, at talkdavid.com. Let's work together, either one-on-one or in the webinar, and let's get that book out there, okay? I'm excited for you. I just started a new client yesterday. She's fired up. We can get the nuts and bolts of it done in 30 days if you want, or I can teach you the outline and you can take it slowly, step by step. Either way, I'd love to help you. I'm David Essel. Have a great day.